Now, using the add listeners function, any object can add itself to the notification system as a listener. But right now we can't notify the listeners when an event happens because we haven't added the necessary posting functionality, and that's what we're going to do here. We're going to add a function so that objects can post notifications to the notification system, and then that can go ahead and notify all the appropriate listeners for that event. So I'm going to insert a new line here. I'm going to paste in a new function, which is going to be post notification. You can see public void post notification, and it takes two arguments, a reference to the object that is posting the event, and a notification name, which is the event name that we are trying to notify the listeners about. And this function, all this does is it cycles through all of the listeners and it checks to see if there are any listeners for this notification. If there are no listeners for this notification, then the function simply exits. But if there are listeners, then it cycles through them all and calls on them the send message function to initiate the event of that name. So it will cycle through all of the enemy objects and call the event shot in the case of these enemies here who are listening for this shot event. And notice that this call here to add listener is in the enemy class, so all enemies will be listening for the shot event. So we have that post notification functionality in here now, and we need to have an object that's going to call upon this functionality to notify the listeners when this event happens. So let's just minimize MonoDevelop and allow that code to compile. I'm going to jump back to our target class, which is associated with the blue box. And on the mouse down event, when the player presses on that box, we want to notify the notification system that our shot event has happened. So we're going to be calling notifications manager.instance, and we're going to be posting the notification. So if I go to the notifications manager, the name of this function is post notification. And so I'm going to be calling on this function. I'm going to be passing a reference to this object, and we're going to be calling the shot function. And I'm going to press Ctrl S on the keyboard to save those changes. And this code now goes ahead and compiles. And now when I press the play button on the toolbar and I click on the blue box, you can see that now the 3 cubes disappear and they call the shot message here and print that to the console. So right here, in just those two functions, we've got a basic notification system up and running. Objects can post notifications, objects can receive them, and we can get this thing up and running quite nicely.